Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this video I'll be discussing my thoughts on the Sword Art Online Extra Edition feature-length special episode that debuted to the world on December 31st, 2013, respectively, alongside a very cool little teaser trailer for Sword Art Online 2, which is going to be taking us into Gun Gale Online, something I'm really looking forward to, as even though I've avoided a lot of the spoilery information and light novel stuff, what I have seen has sounded very intriguing to me, and I've been told by people who've followed it that it actually gets much more interesting and cool than the ALO arc. You know, basically we had Sword Art Online was this great anime that was started off just fundamentally awesome, with this great compelling story about all these characters who got caught in an MMORPG between life and death by the game creator. And it was largely a mystery in seeing them, you know, facing life and death with every single adventure, every single episode, up until about the half point of the series, when finally Kirito, our main character, had successfully beaten, you know, what he needed to beat to free everyone. And then all of a sudden, everything turned into the ALO side of things, you know, second chapter, if you will, where Alfheim Online, you know, we had the awkwardness of him meeting his sister Lifa, aka Sugu, and her dealing with meeting him and kind of becoming infatuated, then finding out to her shock and horror that it was actually her brother all along and all this stuff, and him having to deal with the sort of, you know, disgusting Sugo, who was trying to manipulate Asuna and keep her brain trapped and all this stuff. So it was really interesting to me watching the extra edition with all of the sort of flashback material. It was like we were really focusing on the highlights of what made SAO great and interesting, rather than the sort of negative aspects of it, the things that didn't really sit well, even though we do get a brief reference here or there to Sugu's unwitting sort of attachment to her brother and stuff like that. Luckily, it was downplayed, and I don't think we're going to be lingering there, so that's good for me. But in any case, what started this out was very interesting in that Kirito is brought in to talk to this guy Kikuka, or however his name is pronounced, of the virtual division of the Ministry of Internal Affairs. And it makes me wonder, because a lot of their conversation is really just, you know, going over all the stuff that Kirito had partaken in while he was in the game, the things that he had to deal with, and all the other players. It seems like they've met each other before, and this is conversations they've had before, but I have to wonder what's up this guy's sleeve. Is he trying to find someone to pin blame on, like after the fact, because they don't really have the game creator anymore, he's gone missing or disappeared or died, as well as the Sugo character, I think he suffered brain death or something like that, or he's a vegetable somewhere. I think that's how the series left him, in the wake of his trying to emasculate Asuna in front of Kirito and everything like that. And it was just horrifying, you know. So, I mean, there doesn't seem to be anyone left to really, in the real world, put a blame on. And is that what they're going for with Kirito here? Is that why they're reliving and forcing him to relive all these memories and tell the tale of what he went through? I don't know. Maybe it's that he's, you know, looking to have somebody test out other game platforms, things like that. You know, we have Gun Gale Online. Maybe that's how Kirito gets turned on to it. They want to make sure there isn't something up with these other games and stuff like that. That's just my speculation. But meanwhile, while Kirito is in having these discussions with this guy, it was very cool seeing that Asuna, Sugu, and Elizabeth and Silica are all becoming friendly in the real world. You know, they're basically out at the school pool after hours trying to teach Sugu how to swim and everything like that. And it's awesome because she rises to the challenge in spite of her fear. That was one of the things I loved about her character in the series proper, was that she was always overcoming things, whether it be frustration, you know, finding out to her shock and horror, as I say, that this is her brother she's been infatuated with, and then coping with that and having a relationship with him, familial, thankfully, and stuff like that. And again, this was kind of the focus, while she's also asking these other three girls, you know, how did you meet my brother? And that's giving us an added aspect from those characters' perspectives, really, of how they met Kirito and their adventures together. So it was nice, again, to have all those highlights. But what was really a treat, and I didn't expect them to actually do this, was to give us an extra little adventure toward the end. Once all of this was said and done, you had them all meeting back in ALO, and of course you had them joined by Yui, Jill, and Klein, and they're basically going on this undersea quest, which is pretty much why they've been teaching Sugu how to deal with breathing underwater, or at least swimming through the water, because a lot of that is psychological fear. You know, you'll choke and you don't want to get the water in your lungs or anything like that. So they've had her basically in this pool to teach her to be natural in the water and everything like that. Even though the spells are going to protect her in the game, it apparently still feels real in the virtual environment. So in any case, they go down to this undersea realm with the promise of whales being around, because Yui really wants to see one, and they basically go on this little quest where once again we have Sugu being saved by her brother. And all of these characters together was just awesome, seeing them back together again. You know, they're still going to stick together because of the closeness that they all gained through the horrors of SAO and stuff like that. They have to fend off this giant kraken, which ends up being a nice little twist. And then, of course, you have this trident come from out of nowhere, basically from above them, crashing down, keeping the kraken at bay. And this giant, like, sea king dude looking like Aquaman on steroids comes down and chases the kraken away, the lying, thieving kraken, who is trying to steal not a pearl, not a jewel as he first led them to believe, but an egg carrying the prince of the sea realm and everything like that. And so basically in the end they're thanked by meeting that whale they all wanted to see, that was so, you know, sort of whispered and rumored about, that they didn't know for sure if it actually existed in the game. And of course we see them riding off into the sunset, which was just pretty awesome as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, I mean, this was an interesting extra edition, as I say, feature-length special episode, promising us a story to come in Sword Art Online 2, Gun Gale Online, and all that stuff. I know there's even more stuff that I haven't even heard about. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below. If you've seen Sword Art Online's extra edition episode, if you were able to make it through the entirety of it, I was actually surprised that it was like an hour and 40-something minutes. But in any case, if you've seen it, did you enjoy it? Did you like, you know, traipsing down memory lane again, or was it just solidifying why you didn't particularly care for the series? Otherwise, that'll be it from me on this. I hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch you later. Peace.